Hi, this is Ramaji. Welcome to the Self-Enquiry Meditation Seminar. This is going to be a very special experience. This information is not well known in the West, and frankly, it's not that well known even by people who have studied the teachings of Sri Ramana Maharshi quite closely. And it's only in a few very rare books that are just not known well at all, that the missing pieces of self-inquiry meditation have been revealed. So that's what I'm here to do today, is to show you what the missing ingredients are that everybody I'm talking to about Ramana Maharshi and self-inquiry meditation are just not getting, they're not understanding it. So I put this seminar together in the hopes of explaining what's missing. Well, Ramana Maharshi did talk about a lot of things. That's because a lot of people asked him a lot of questions. But when he had a chance to talk about what's most important, he would say what's most important is the I am the body thought. The fact that you are already the self, you are already enlightened, only there is something that imposes itself upon that natural inborn enlightenment that you are and that you have right now, and that is this I am the body thought, also called the I thought. Now, he was very specific about this. Ramana was very specific about this. So if you're talking about the teachings of Ramana Maharshi and you're talking about self-inquiry meditation, then you absolutely must be talking about the I thought, which is exactly the I am the body thought, which in fact is the root of the mind. And we're also going to be talking about the gap. There's actually two gaps. There's one between deep sleep and the dream state, and there's one between the dream state and the waking state, this physical world. But obviously the one between the dream state and the waking state is easier to access, so that's what we will be focusing on. And this is also a teaching of Ramana Maharshi, that in the gap, that's where you can grab the I thought, that's where you can catch the I thought, notice and observe the I thought and see what it's up to and see how it operates. Because otherwise you just wake up and you think you're the physical body, and that's what's happening to 7 billion people. Okay, so here what I've got for you is a map. Okay, we'll just call it a map. And I call this the map of how to break the I am the body trance. As I explained, the I thought is the I am the body thought, and that is the root of the mind. So you don't have to worry about conquering the mind. All you want to focus on, all you need to focus on, is understanding the root of the mind, like the seed of a flower or the seed of some other plant. If you can eliminate the seed, you've handled the rest of it. And the seed is this I thought, this I am the body thought. So coming from deep sleep of the causal body, you have a gap, and that is the wall of sleep, which is like a big blank darkness, a big blank dark wall. And then the I thought, which has been resting in deep sleep in the causal body in the darkness, grabs its first body, which is the dream body. And of course that's in the dream world. And then after dreaming for a while and being the dream body, assuming there's a physical body associated that is alive and conscious, or it's asleep right now, but it will be conscious and awake. So now the dream body jumps, the I thought rather, jumps from the dream body to the physical body. And that is a gap right there. That's the second gap, but that gap obviously is easier to identify and enter into and stay in and observe. In most cases, the person believes they are the physical body, and there's me here and you there and us everywhere, and so we have 7 billion people on an endarkened planet. It does not have to be this way, but this is how it is. So at least we can bring light into our world through enlightenment. Now, self-inquiry has two aspects to it that I want to emphasize. The first one is that its purpose is to remove the I thought. The I thought is this physical body concept, I am the body, and it should not be underestimated. It is a formidable, clever, deceptive opponent. It is the ultimate master hypnotist, and it has put 7 billion people on this planet into a trance, the I am the body trance. And I also want to make it clear that enlightenment is not complicated or fancy or mysterious. Ramana Maharshi states very plainly that the path to enlightenment is bringing the peace of deep sleep into the waking state and making it conscious. So enlightenment is bringing the peace of the deep sleep, which obviously we enter every night, bringing the peace of the deep sleep into the waking state, meaning this physical world waking state, and making it conscious and stabilizing in that. And the way you do that is to eliminate the I thought, the I am the body idea. Now, the second point I want to make about self-inquiry, as in terms of an overview, is that on the positive side, what we're doing with self-inquiry is liberating the I feeling. When the I feeling is suppressed by the I am the body thought, the imposition of body consciousness, and you are thinking I am the body and the body is the source of my identity, then the I feeling is scrunched down, it's contracted down into a very small experience, almost like a pilot light in the background, a little sound or song that you hear as a background that's playing. But in fact, it's all we have. The I feeling is our true asset. Without the I feeling, without feeling I or me, then we would be dead or we would be in a coma. So it's really all that we have that is important. Some people can feel the heart on the right. There's a marker there, which is an inch or two from the center line of the chest. And this intuitive marker, when you feel it, and there's many ways that a person might feel it, is a call from the self. Some non-dual teachers think it's a distraction or an illusion. It is not. It is a call from the self to wake up in the heart, which is the experience of the causal body as it relates to the physical body. That is the heart on the right. Once the I feeling is set free and allowed to be pure and is no longer being blocked or compressed or contracted by the imposition of the I thought, of the I am the body idea, it is allowed to expand. It expands itself in joy and in freedom and in happiness, and it is without limits. And this pure I feeling, without conditioning or contraction, is in fact the self. It is in fact enlightenment. Now, in the course of a 24-hour day, we go through a very familiar cycle, and I know you're familiar with it, but I'm just going to remind you that this is exactly what we have every day. In other words, this is the game that we're in. This is our assets that we have, our tools that we have, our states of consciousness that we have in order to use, in order to wake up to who and what we really are. So we wake up in the morning, we live our life here in the waking state, and then we go to bed, and then we go to deep sleep. Scientists say we go to deep sleep first, in order to regenerate the body. That's the most important thing, to regenerate. And then after that is accomplished, then we go to dreams. So dreams are not as important as deep sleep. So from the dream state, then we go to the physical state and wake up. And there is a gap between deep sleep and dreaming, and there is a gap between dreaming and waking. And the I thought, or I am the body thought, must reach across that gap, jump over each of those gaps in order to reach the waking state. Now of the two, obviously, we're going to find it easier to access and observe and be awake and aware in the gap between dreaming and waking up. Now here's what I call the body trance sequence, and it's what happens in the gap. So when we wake up in the morning, the I thought shoots up from the heart on the right up to the brain. Now you may not be aware of it, but what I think you can be aware of relatively easily is how it takes over the brain. So that there's an imposition of the I thought or body consciousness upon the brain, upon the head, the brain, the mind. You feel it come over you. So some people wake up in a very open place, and then they feel something happens to them where there's an imposition of body consciousness, and then what follows from that is a sense of contraction, and of course the feeling I am this physical body. So when the I thought shoots up from the heart on the right up to the top of the head, and then moving down takes over the brain, it then proceeds from there to take over the nervous system, and then once it takes over the nervous system, it has everything it needs in order to induce the very convincing trance that I am the body, I am this physical body. And that's why people don't realize the truth of the situation. They really believe they're the physical body because it happens so fast. This imposition of body consciousness is very, very fast. We could say a couple of seconds, maybe less. But if you're waiting for it and you're aware of it and you're educated about it, which is one of my main goals here, is to educate everybody about this, then you have a chance to see what's happening, especially if you can wake up as relaxed, spacious awareness, and then notice that something happens to that. Well, that is who and what you are, coming out of sleep and dream state, very wide open and comfortable and spacious, and then something happens, and that something that happens is the imposition of body consciousness. And you can be even more precise than that. It is the rising of the I thought, the I'm the body thought, from the heart on the right up to the head, where it takes over the brain, takes over the nervous system, takes over the body, and produces the I am the body feeling, which is of course extremely convincing. Now if that isn't enough, once that happens, notice that it's happening to everybody else too, right? 7 billion people on planet Earth. So then once that happens, there's immediately a sense of disorientation, confusion, even desperation, isolation. It has an emotional tonality. And then we're concerned with survival, and then other people, and then the whole world. So you notice there's this progression of greater and greater involvement in the details and complexity of the implications of I am the body, until the average person is just totally caught up in it. That's all there is this world with the news on TV and the internet and celebrities and all of this, and the fact that it all began in the morning with the feeling I am the body, which was produced by the thought I am the body, which came ultimately from deep sleep in the causal body, which is the same as the heart on the right in terms of physical body. It all started with that, with the I am the body thought, just that one thought, and everything else comes from it. Okay, here's another map, and I would like you to take a look at it. It's quite a lot of stuff here. But basically what I'm trying to say is that there is a map, and we can go from being in the waking state, I am the body trance, to waking up to the heart and our true self. And we can wake up with the help of noticing the gap. And also you may be able to notice the other gap, which is between dream and deep sleep. And people who are lucid dreamers may be able to notice that at the outer limits of dreaming, you enter into a darkness. And that's what prevents people from understanding the true nature of deep sleep. Strangely, it's sufficient for a human being to oscillate between waking and dreaming, waking and dreaming, waking and dreaming, or really waking, dreaming, dreaming, waking, waking, dreaming, dreaming, waking. How can that be enough? And we'll even say, I want to fulfill my dreams. My dream is to do this. Realize your dreams. That's what people say. Realize your dreams. As if dreams were more important than the physical. So there's a relationship, but the mystery, the third part of the triangle, is deep sleep. And of course, the self is the other missing part, but you have to begin to understand deep sleep and the I thought and waking up in the waking state in order to access the self or the heart. But anyway, that is the third missing piece, is deep sleep. And that's why we go back and forth between waking and dreaming, then dreaming back to waking. It's because we're missing that other piece of deep sleep. And the process of enlightenment is including that third piece, deep sleep, until it becomes fully conscious. And then we are enlightened because we've made deep sleep, the piece of deep sleep, which is an experience of unboundedness, conscious in the waking state. Now, this is not a talk or seminar about self-inquiry, but I did want to mention it briefly. And so you do want to observe or catch the I thought at waking, and then you would ask in this formal 3-step inquiry method, which is good if you're having a lot of thoughts or you're just getting started in self-inquiry, who is having this thought? And the funny thing is, you will get an answer. And the answer will be something like, I am. I am having this thought. So here you are talking to something that says, I am having this thought. In other words, you're not having this thought because you're the self, you're pure awareness. So something else is having this thought, and this something else is the I thought. So the I thought answers, I am having this thought. Or it'll say, I am. And then you'll ask, in the 3-part method of self-inquiry, well, who exactly are you? And it will then explain what I was just talking about, which is, I am the I thought. It will tell you, I am the I thought. And then you ask, well, where did you come from? Where do you come from? And it will say, I come from the heart, meaning the heart on the right. And that's very valuable information. That means you know where it comes from. You know where it lives, which means you can track it down to its home, to its point of origin, to its roots. And then ideally during your meditation, and if you can during the day, you challenge each and every thought that rises up. And you get better at this, and you can catch the thoughts as they rise up, plus the thoughts are fewer and fewer, and the mind is lighter and lighter. And eventually you're able to rest in the self, meaning rest in the heart, rest in the silence, rest in the rich peace, the rich happiness of the self, of the heart. Now, there's a lot of talk in enlightenment circles about your story. And I just wanted to mention briefly that your story, which you may be struggling with in some way, is all totally based on the I am the body thought. In other words, the I am the body feeling. That's the source and beginning and origin of any and all stories that we have. And if you try to answer the question, who am I, which is another way to say self-inquiry, if you've already become the body, the I thought took over and now you're convinced I am the body, you have the I am the body feeling, and then you ask, who am I? It's sort of like closing the barn door after the horse left. You're a little too late, and it's really better to be able to catch the I thought in the morning, or at least know that that's happening, and know exactly what you're doing with the self-inquiry, not asking who am I per se. That is what you're doing as a concept. But what you're really doing is separating out the I thought from yourself, because you are pure awareness, you're pure I feeling, pure being, pure peace, and you want to separate out this moving, agitating, disturbing I thought, which has as its unhappiness this belief of being the body, the physical body. Okay, and then I just wanted to briefly say, well, I have been saying this, that enlightenment is to destroy or eliminate the I thought, and the reason for that, the mind is nothing other than the I. So if we eliminate the I thought, or the I am the body thought, we will eliminate all that we need to eliminate of it in order to be happy and to be at peace and to realize ourself and attain enlightenment. So there are stages to this self-inquiry meditation journey, and we have to identify this I thought, and we learn how to catch it and observe it, and eventually we learn how to rest in the heart as the number of thoughts diminishes and the complexity of them is reduced and the weight and the burden is lightened and the whole mind thins out and gets thinner and thinner and lighter. It becomes easier and easier to rest in the heart, to rest in the silence, to rest in the peace of the self. Okay, now this is the map again, only in the reverse order. So we're moving from the world, the dark world, kind of like the movie The Matrix, where we're very confused about who and what we really are. And our goal is to break the I am the body trance that is imposed on us as awareness, as the self, as the enlightened self. It's imposed on us, it's a thought, it's mental, and it's imposed on us when we wake up, when we transition from dreaming to wakening. So the path is from where we're perceiving me and you and us and them, and everybody's a physical body, and we're all in this dark world with all of these problems. We're transitioning, and to get out of the physical body trance, the hypnosis of the feeling, I am the body, we have to find that gap, or we will become aware of that gap. And we want to find it every day, if possible, to work on finding it every day. Now, then there's the dream state. So this is like falling asleep, then there's the dream state, and then there's the fog, the misty wall of sleep, the big blank dark fog or wall. And self-inquiry brings light to this, and then finally we are able to recognize the I am the body seat in the causal body in the deep sleep state. This is the secret of the heart cave, and this is the secret of enlightenment. Okay. Congratulations, you now know the direct path to enlightenment. That was taught by Sri Ramana Maharshi, and hopefully I've explained a few things about it. So it consists of self-inquiry, the technique, and the gap, which is in the morning between dreaming and waking up, which is when the imposition of body consciousness happens. I also give what I call rasa, which is Ramaji Advaita Shaktipat attunements. I give them live in San Diego or a long distance via Skype, and there is a small donation. All of the instructions that are given in this presentation are 100% supported by the teachings of Sri Ramana Maharshi. So if you want more information about what I'm doing and what I'm teaching, and you want to talk to me or send me an email or get rasa or whatever, I make myself very available. You can contact me at ramaji.org. Now, I also wanted to mention something else that I do. It's all related, of course, and that is levels of consciousness, or LOC. And I do the LOC. I determine the LOC, or level of consciousness, of the people that I work with. And one thing that I've noticed is that people who are genuinely in non-duality, and thus are enlightened, are in the range of 600 to 1,000 on my LOC scale. 1,000 being the top state. So Sri Ramana Maharshi, for example, was at 1,000. Okay, and then here are my websites, ramaji.org, and then you can, for the local San Diego group that obviously meets in San Diego, you can go to meetup.com, Ramaji-Satsang-group, and I have another website, experiencerasa.com, which is talks more about other things that I'm doing in terms of any events or appearances, and then there's where I give my personal remarks and personal sharings. That's experiencerasa.blogspot.com. So at the beginning of this talk, I mentioned that there are some books that are rare, that are hard to find, that most people don't know about. And I know I sure didn't know about them when I was first studying Ramana Maharshi. I have studied Ramana Maharshi for many years, but it wasn't until later on that I actually came across this information. And I guess I across it at the right time for me, and perhaps would not have understood it when I did. And that is why I talk about the gap so much. I think I forgot to mention something very practical, which is when you're in the gap, meaning right when you wake up, keep your body very still. Don't move your body. And that will help you be in awareness, and help you to be able to notice anything that happens, any changes, specifically the imposition of the I am the body thought, the imposition of body consciousness, first at the brain and then throughout the whole body. Okay, so the recommended reading that I'm talking about that I mentioned, well, of course I have a book, and that's on Amazon.com, and right now it's 3 volumes. It's called Enlightenment for Everybody, and it's volume 2 relating to this material, the heart, Amrita Nadi, and the I thought, and that's a Kindle book. You can use the free Amazon cloud reader. It's quite nice, very, very nice to use, so you don't even really need a Kindle. Okay, and then another book that you may have or know about, certainly, it's not really a secret book, but it's just, I think, the best book, aside from the classic Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi, which everyone should have too, and which really ought to be on this list. But anyway, it's this book, which is by the editor David Godman, which is Be As You Are, The Teachings of Sri Ramana Maharshi. Now, he's a great editor, and he's done a really good job of organizing the teachings. So as far as the teachings of Ramana Maharshi, I would have this book, Be As You Are, and then the classic Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Okay, now we're getting into the rare stuff that I mentioned before. Lakshmana Swami and David Godman, and the book's called No Mind, I Am the Self. And it really goes into the relationship between the heart and the head, the heart on the right and the head, and the activity of the I thought and how it's eliminated. And it's got a strong guru focus, which won't work for everybody. It's very Eastern, very Indian, very guru-oriented, and but the information's very good. So it's complemented by this book by Sri Sadhu Om, translated by Michael James. Now, Lakshmana Swami and Sri Sadhu Om were both direct disciples of Ramana Maharshi. Sri Sadhu Om is no longer here in the physical. Lakshmana Swami is. Now, this book by Sri Sadhu Om, Path of Sri Ramana, Part 1, is absolutely brilliant. And this between this and the Swami Lakshmana book, it was life-changing. And Sri Sadhu Om explains exactly what I'm trying to talk about here and what I'm trying to explain about the gap and the imposition of body consciousness, the rising of the I thought to the brain and taking over the body, and how it happens in the morning. And this is really where I got this from. Okay, I learned it from Sri Sadhu Om from this book and then applied it myself to my own life. And I can tell you it is life-changing information, and it is very rare information. Very rare. Now, what makes it even better is that you can get it free. This last book by Sri Sadhu Om, you can get it free. And I show the website there. This is given free as a gift from translator Michael James, so it's totally legit. And the website is happinessofbeing.com, The Path of Sri Ramana, Part 1, PDF. So it's right there, but that's how you get it. That's how you find it. Okay, well, that's it. You now know a lot more about the I thought, which is the I am the body thought, and how it rises in the morning, and that this is a critical teaching of Ramana Maharshi, and combined with self-inquiry, which is to identify the I thought, to observe the I thought, to separate yourself as pure awareness from the I thought, or you could say separate the I thought from you. And you recognize that these thoughts are all from the I thought, which is the I am the body thought. In other words, you have to be I am the body first. You have to really believe that I am this physical body before any of the rest of it makes sense or applies. The whole story starts from I am the body. This is not an abstraction. This is not a theory. This is not some woo-woo stuff. This is as hardcore and real and ultimate and life-changing as anything can be. I mean, this is the real stuff. This is the essence of the essence. This is the key. This is the secret. This is the real secret. This is the big secret. That everything stems from the I am the body thought. Now, the I am the body feeling, of course, which we think is who and what we are, is based on this imposition of the I thought in the morning when you wake up, which is why it's so important, because once you're stuck with the I feeling, you got a hard road. You got a road uphill. If you can educate yourself about how the I thought is imposing itself upon you as pure, spacious, peaceful awareness, that's really going to help you. And that's why I did this seminar, hoping that that would save you time and effort so that you can achieve enlightenment in this lifetime faster than easier, and easier than before. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. This is Ramaji at ramaji.org, wishing you many blessings in the self. Bye for now.